Yeah. Silver.
I don't know how to do a 9-1.
Do you have
7-1, 9-1.
Do you have a battery pack here? In your backpack? Okay. So I'm gonna go grab a charge cable for both of you guys. I might have to share back and forth because I think we only have 4 battery packs, or I'll steal one from Swine.
Well, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It is indeed an honor and a privilege to be here once again at the Arizona National. Starting out with
I'll do this and you can grab it.
Already.
Got it.
She's done a really good job hanging in there with that kid. This is a good class. There's lots of differences in it. If you know me, I'm not going to ask anybody to agree with my opinion. I'm going to tell you what I see and how I see it. I hope you understand what I believe are the pros and cons of those cattle and why they are lying the way they are. But we don't have to agree, because if we all had the same opinion, there'd be one show a year and there wouldn't be much fun in that. In this class, the steer that wins is simply better in the way that he handles his rear hip and hop. He's definitely more authoritative and stable in terms of the way that he handles his pass turn. He is more seamless in his transition from his shoulder to forward and forward to body walk. With that, he's camped, he's got ample amount of muscularity, and he's still nice enough in terms of the show ring look from the side. Is he perfect in the way that he goes from behind? No. But in this class, compared to his peers and contemporaries, he's the one I feel the most solid and confident in using for that person to use. There in second is the rear one. Through the front 1/3 of his body, he's so sleek in terms of his front end, chiseled under his jaw, and yet he has a nice silhouette from the side. He's one that caves in right behind his shoulder. He's tight in his forehead. When we get him in motion, he really wants to get underneath himself in terms of the way that he travels and moves. He's got to be stronger in the way that he handles that pass-turn to go on and win. And I really like the look of that guy through the front 1/3 of his body. This calf here is great. And some people head him down further. I like the build in terms of his head and neck set. I like his shape to his lower rib cage and his steering core, and that's why he stands there. I realize he's awfully straight and filthy off either end of the skeleton, and he just needs more days on feed to be competitive. A bigger bone, stouter ended one comes in forward. I like those criteria about that individual there. He gets tight in his lower rib cage. He's one that's not as attractive about his head and neck. He doesn't have that show ring silhouette from the side of the top 3. Silver steer again, one that's aggressive in terms of his bone, his foot. He's flat and level in terms of his hip. He's a steer that's a little rougher around the edges. He's a little tighter in terms of his body build, but he has so much more natural product. Remaining two, once again, Shane Letty's doing an excellent job with a calf that just doesn't want to be a show steer out here today. Put up the bottom pair of cattle. That was simply sounder in the way that he goes from behind. Black steer is one that's long and level and attractive. Again, he just gets too straight and structurally incorrect off either end. He needs to be more collected and organized in his skeleton. Give him a nice round of applause. Look forward to a fun day.
That's okay. No problem. Thank you.
Okay, one down. So we're gonna go first
As
to
we kick off our
last.
Wrangler show over here, extremely high quality class, plenty of variation in terms of this size and maturity, but that's to be expected. You got some differences in terms of age. I think it's worth saying, and when you get in a scenario like this and something big like this happens, what happens. We got a group of kids over here that are showing and probably wouldn't have the experience otherwise. There's a Wrangler that offers these kids and these kids to come show. They get to learn this experience and go through it like some of us are privileged to do. And I think that's awesome, just to learn all that we get to learn from showing cattle through this experience. Is awfully neat to drop the cattle. And again, I think a
6 was the
standout
girl with the
class.
black and white steer in the braid that got loose. The blue
In
show
terms
stick.
of just maturity and
picture
overall
that.
body dimension, I think stands out in this particular
6 was the last
was
one.
that his foot size and bone work. She just
7
makes it
was
look
a
lazy
solid
out
black
here today.
steer.
But once he takes off and goes and pulls it all together, I think still an extremely high quality look from the side profile, one that puts a lot of these things together, and I think a great place to start. The one that comes in second at first glance you might look past because she's a bit greener in terms of her composition. For me personally, and in the calf classes, I don't know that they need to be ready today, and that one's pieces suggest she'll be extremely high quality down the road. Like that one's extension ahead of her shoulder, the way she's put together in terms of her fresh body shape, one that gets out and goes comfortably off of both ends. If she just matures with a bit more drop to her center body, everything else is working in her favor. I think that one's extremely nice. As we keep coming down the line, the heifer that comes in third matches our class winner in terms of maturity, stoutness of feature, overall body dimension. Just like to see that one put together with a bit more look and eye feel here from the side profile. As we keep moving down, the heifer that comes in forward, I love at the surface in terms of her foot size, her squareness, in terms of her toe. The way she gets out and goes off of both ends, I think is awfully nice. And still on target in terms of her body shape. As we step back off her, she's a bit more jammed up from the side. I like to see just a bit more look and extension ahead of her shoulder, and she does want to splay out just a bit up front. Change those few things, and I think that one certainly has a lot of good going for her. The one that comes out next, again, a bit greener in terms of her composition, as good looking from her shoulders forward as any of them out here today. Just like to see a bit more mass in the midger out there if you were hardened for it, and see her a bit square and sounder featured as we study her to the surface. The heifer that comes next, a bit more of the same. I think certainly has plenty of body dimension. Just like to see a bit more look and I feel here from the side profile. And then the heifer that closes, one that has plenty of status and feature at the surface. Just like to see a bit more drop and maturity in terms of the center body dimension relative to the remainder of the class. Awesome class here. I think a lot of high quality pieces and the set of kids doing a great job. Congratulations.
Results from Class 1 in the Bring Us Open show. Entry number 4722, Bailey Lavender from Melrose, New Mexico. And second, entry number 7203, Raven Morrison from Bowie, Arizona. Third, entry number 7195, Dakota Heat from San Simon, Arizona. Fourth, entry number 7193, Ariana Nunez from San Simon, Arizona. In fifth, entry number 7192, Makayla Driscoll from San Simon, Arizona. In sixth, Elisha Guzman from San Simon, Arizona. And in seventh, entry number 7200, Taylor Workman from San Simon, Arizona. Entering the ring now is class number 2, junior heifer calves born January through February of 2019. Entry number 7197, born February 13, 2019, Zeke O'Hare of San Simon, Arizona. Entry number 4720, born January 22nd of 2019, Bailey Lavender of Melrose, New Mexico.
In the ring right now, the prospect side here on the south end of the ring, we have class 2 being judged right now. Class 3, you need to be lined up at the gate. Class 4, you need to be ready on deck, ready to line up. We're rolling through these pretty quick, so don't expect to take too long. Be ready to roll.
Nice pair of heifers here in our second class of Brangus, and I think they're a bit more alike in their type of kind than they are different. The heifer that we used to win, I think kind of a standout between them though, in terms of the extras she brings to the table. A heifer that you like in terms of her stoutness, the feature of the surface and her foot size and shape. One that I think is comfortable on the go in terms of her angles and the way she's assembled here from the side. Like that one in terms of the way she carries herself and her top line dead level out through her hip. I think still high time and kicks the neck high on the top side of her shoulder. Bold in terms of her upper rib cage. One thing on that heifer is I'd like to see a bit more drop right there through her center body at this stage of the game, but with these cattle being dominant influence, I know that does make them a little slower coming in terms of their body shape. everything else is working in that heifer's favor. I think she's off with that quality. The heifer that comes out next, long-bodied, certainly plenty of growth and performance in this particular female, soundly comfortable off of both ends. It's from a quality standpoint, or I guess some added extras here from the side profile, where she works in the second, a bit lower tying in terms of her head and neck. She wants to drop her pins a bit more as we study him on the go. After that just kind of comes apart when we set him into motion. But certainly a sound, functional female that will certainly work in production. I think certainly a nice one there as well for that young man. Congratulations.
Results from Class 2. In first place, Bailey Lavender from Melrose, Oklahoma. And in second place, Zeke O'Hare from San Simon, Arizona. Coming back into the ring. We are going to be selecting for the champion and reserve champion of the Spring Heifer Caps.
As we come back out here for our division selection here in the Braggia show, I think certainly a high quality set of cattle. And as we study back to these paired class winners, I think they're pretty different in terms of their type and kind and where they're at in terms of maturity, body mass. But I think they both have the basics that it takes to be extremely competitive. That starts with the surface. A pair of females that are big-footed and square-toed, comfortable in terms of their goals, and then from there, I think there's some slight difference in terms of body shape and overall look. The heifer that we have out of that first class as massive through her midrib as any of them, like the sweep through the center portion of her skeleton. Now she comes back into a rear end flank. One that I think as you step back off her dead level down her top line, maybe like to see her neck come a shade higher on the top side of her shoulder, so you're just a bit longer and more extended from there forward. But that's getting pretty critical of a female. It puts a lot of neat things together, going to be an extremely good cow. The one that comes out of that second class maybe takes it a step further in terms of those high appeal pieces up from her, or up to her front 1/3. Like that one's extension, how smooth she is in terms of her shoulder, lady-like about her head, dead level down her top line, and still comfortable at the surface. A big thing on that female, and where she gets tripped up when we compare her back to that initial class winner, is the way she was for center body technical standpoint. Like to see a bit more drop. Like to right there for forward and hard, and then see a bit more sweep back to her rear than flank. That's certainly a high quality female that if she comes with a bit more drop to her center body, it's going to be extremely competitive. It comes class winners, and for me today,
second class winner is reserved. I don't know if you want to check the batteries or what, or if I'm standing in the wrong spot, it just keeps dying. Yeah, I'm good. They're good.
Well, he's got to announce the winner, the youngest one was champion. Now it's in the lead.
Our junior heifer, champion of the Alex D's Brangus Show, belongs to 4720. Bailey Lavender of Melrose, Oklahoma. And the reserve champion belongs to entry number 4722 of Bailey Lavender of Melrose, Oklahoma. We're going to be moving into class number 3 of the winter heifer calves born November through December of 2018. We have a single entry, entry number 4718, born on November 23rd of 2018, belongs to Bailey Lavender of Melrose, Oklahoma. I'm sorry, Melrose, New Mexico.
Thank you, sir.
Single entry here in this class. This is also a division, but I think a female that can withstand a lot of competition. And certainly it's a cliche, but in the last division, you wish you could put both those efforts together to make one that puts it all together just from an eye appeal standpoint and cowiness. And I think that's the heifer that we have standing right here in front of us. One that has the look and eye appeal from her shoulders forward, the neatness in terms of her jawline and how she comes down into her chest, and still the broodiness and dimension right there through her center body. And as you study her from that 3/4 shot, down through her heart and forward, and then out through her hip, still lays it smooth onto her body, comfortable and still attractive in terms of her angles. I think this one's extremely high quality. The cattleman in me makes me a bit concerned in terms of the added fat she's starting to lay down in terms of her udders, but I think that's a minor criticism on a female that puts a lot of neat things together. Certainly extremely high quality. Congratulations to that young lady.
Your division winner of the winter heifer calves of the Alex D's Brangus Show belongs to entry number 4718, Bailey Lavender of Melrose, New Mexico.
Well, as we move into class 2 here, I noticed y'all got pretty quiet. Normally when that happens, there's a big decision probably about to go down. And I know we got a lot of still left, but I think this is a dynamic duo on the top end of this class. And there, between them, just this is gonna win because it matches me in terms of color. The silver one wins because she is more elite in terms of her silhouette from the side. She's longer, flatter, and more flexible out of her hip. With that, she's one that's longer in terms of her side. Most importantly, she is better in the way that she handles her rear hip and hock because she's got legs like a high school cheerleader. She can just get out and go the way they're supposed to. With that, she's plenty of substance. I'm not going to take she's as stout as this very second because she's not. And I'd like to see her just a little bolder down there in her twist. Let's get it awfully critical on a real shiny show cow. I like quite well. Congratulations to you. Steer second hit the ring, and I said, here's one that we're going to like a whole lot, and I do. Because that thing is even more chiseled to the front 1/3 of his neck and under his jaw. He has got that come-hither look from the front 1/3 of his body, and yet he's round and robust in terms of his rib. He's burly in terms of his build, and he's got a ton of power, mass, and dimension. And he's still agile. In terms of the way that he moves, he's not quite as good in terms of his structural integrity. He wants to arc ever so slightly at the top side of his spine. He's not quite as long in terms of his hip. And those are the little things that separate that pair, but they're both really, really good. This calf just kept moving up the line, and he's really one that's very solid. He's not going to come at you or blow you away in any category, but he's one that's big-bodied and square-made, has a nice look for his side, he's fairly mobile. And he, again, is so much better in the way that he handles his hip, hops the ground, and calf and forward. That is powerful and dense in terms of rib, huge in terms of muscularity. It's just when this one gets in motion, that one really wants to round out of his hip, get underneath himself in terms of the way that he handles his hip and hop, and he just wants to snap, crackle, and pop in terms of his pasterns. Again, a really good looking one here that's got some body and enough muscularity, not as powerful those ones above, and one that's got to be straighter and square from hop to ground. Young man jealous here gets high up for me because I think that calf's green is a gourd, but he's good in terms of his build, and he's better in the way that he moves than the remainders of his peers and contemporaries in this class. He's got enough body for one that's that skinny right now. He's got some power. I just think that calf's going to get better with more days on feed. In the essence of time, we can't talk to every single one of them, or we'll be showing in the dark. I did talk to those kids and tell them what I liked, what I wanted to change about their cattle. That was an excellent class. Great top pair. Give them a nice round of applause.
As we come back out here for our champion bring, this female selection, extremely high quality lineup, maybe not a ton of numbers, but I think the depth in terms of just good cattle in this particular breed has been outstanding. As we look back at this pair of class winners, I think they have a lot of similarities. A pair of cattle that will just work in production in terms of what they bring to the table at the surface, in terms of their stoutness of feature and foot size and shape. The way they get out and go with that kind of comfort off of both ends, I think is awfully encouraging. I think a pair of females that you like just in terms of the maternal shape through the center portion of their skeleton. And then as you step back off them, they still put it all together with a high quality look. The heifer there in that first class, as we said that earlier, like her just stoutness of feature from an individual standpoint. One that's dead level down her top line and has the right kind of build out through her hip. Maybe like to pick her up in terms of where her neck comes out of the top side of her shoulder. I know it's a silly criticism here in a set of cattle that are Brahman influence, but you can clean that one up in terms of her throat latch and chest just ever so slightly. Again, minor criticisms of a female, puts a lot of neat things together. The heifer out of that second division, I think one that puts a lot of neat things together, and is the combination female as we study this particular lineup in terms of that added broodiness and dimensional look, and still having that added eye appeal up through her front 1/3. She is just a bit neater in terms of her jawline and shoulder, the way she fills back into her heart and forehead. After that, I do think has even more just outward curvature through her center body, puts a lot of neat things together. Not only going to be an awfully high quality show heifer, but certainly worked in production. Again, one more time, put your hands together for all of our Brangus exhibitors. I'll get you a champion reserve. Congratulations.
Dave Campa, the junior prospect, your class is entering the ring right now. Dave Campa, we should be entering the ring with class 3 right now. Class 3 is entering the ring. Class 4, you need to start lining up. Class 5, first call, ready. That is your class. Our judge today, heading from Crockett, Texas, Mr. Ryan Rash. He's no stranger to livestock shows and circuits. Exhibiting and judging at county, state, regional, national, international shows. The A&M, Texas A&M, 1989 livestock judging team. We're the national Intercollegiate livestock judging team.
Yeah, Division 2, which was a single entry, was our champion. Brangus female. And then the heifer that won the first division was our. Yeah.
Hey, Brian, can you hand me one of those waters?
Congratulations to our champion. Our champion Brangus heifer belongs to entry number 4718, Bailey Lavender of Melrose, New Mexico. And our reserve champion belongs to entry number 4720, Bailey Lavender of Melrose, New Mexico. If we can keep both of those animals ringside, we'll be bringing them back in once we finish the Ultra Brangus divisions. So please remain ringside. We'd like to give a big thank you to our ringside sponsors. And those are Allflex, Arizona Hereford and Angus Association, Bales Hay Sales, Behringer Ingelheim, the British Light Association of America, Empire Power Systems, GNC Water and Ice, Hilton Garden Inn, Phoenix, Midtown, IBBA, JBS, Lincoln Cattle Company, Mountain States Wholesale Nursery, the Red Angus Association of America, RV Rental Outlet, Sanderson Ford, Showbloom, Showcoat, Stokes, Sullivan Supply Company, Tractor Supply Company, Weaver Leather Livestock, Western Ag Life Media, WW Rodeo Livestock Systems, and YGB Legates. Let's give them all a big round of applause for all the support that they've given us. Thank you.
Got it.
We're going to be moving on into the Ultra Brangus divisions of the Alex D's Brangus Show. Class 1, Spring Heifer Calves born March 2019 and after. We have one entry number 7198. Belongs to Nicholas Barrich of Sansone, Arizona.
Class 4, you should be lining up outside, Ashton Vide, Jason Bolden, Rick Garcia. Maggie Haddon, Brendan Mario, Sam Hedge, Eliana Hoffler, Sandra Cochran, Kate Owensby, Celia Blum, Casey Miller, Bennett. Class 4, ready to go to the ring. Class 5, on deck. You're next.
Class 2 of the Ultra Brangus, please be ringside. Class 2 Junior Heifer Calves born January to February 2019, please be ringside.
single entry here in the Livestock division to start off our show, and one that I think is built right at the surface, as good as any of them as we've seen thus far today. Love that one's added cushion to her lower joints, attractiveness in terms of her skeleton off of both ends. That comes extremely high to the top side of her shoulder with that added extension. Long body, level down her top side. As you step back off her, I think she proportions correctly from that three-quarter shot. If we could change that one, like to see a bit more outward curvature and fill through her heart and forward, and then back to her center body. But certainly one that I think with time, maturity, and a little bit of feed can change that. She's got all the basics in terms of being built right at the surface. Congratulations to this young man. He's got an awfully nice effort.
Results from Class 1 of the Ultra Bringer Show. Your Class winner belongs to entry number 7198, Nicholas Berrich of Sansimo, Arizona. Entering the ring now is Class number 2, Junior Heifer Calves, born January through February of 2019. We have 2 entries. Entry number 7194. She was born on February 10th of 2019. Kobe Green of Sansimo, Arizona. Entry number 7204. She was born January 27th of 2019. Belongs to Houston Clump of Bowie, Arizona.
Nice pair of heifers here. The one that we usually win looks like a show calf here from the side profile. Like that one's look and extension from her shoulders forward. One that's fresh haired and eye appealing as you study it further. Big footed, stout featured, one that reads right in terms of the bulk, in terms of the upper portion of her rib cage. And I prefer the way that one moves in terms of her top line and out to her hip. On this female here, you'd like to see a bit more her center body. I think part of it is she's awful good in terms of her overall presentation and condition today. She drops with a bit more center body. That one's got some awful neat pieces as you study her here from the profile. Still has plenty of dimension as you study it from behind. The head of the second is just a bit more maternal here from the side profile in terms of the sweep through the center portion of her skeleton, the one that's still sound and comfortable on the go. The biggest thing on this female here is you'd like to stout her up in terms of her feature. A female you'd like to see for as smooth made as she is everywhere. Up to the point of her shoulder, you'd like to see her just a bit neater and press that into her skeleton. One that you'd like to see take her neck just a bit higher and longer at the top side of her shoulder to truly compete with the female ahead of her, but still a sound, functional, easy keeping kind of female that will always work in production. Congratulations to both these young men.
Results in Class 2. First place, entry number 7204, Houston Clump of Bowie, Arizona. And in second place is 7194, Kobe Green of Sansimo, Arizona. We'll now bring back in both first place division winners.
Alright, as we move into this class here, I'll be real honest with you. If you don't think the young lady in the white sweater needs to win, it's going to be a long 3 days for you. Because that's put more my kind of bovine than the one that comes in 2. That thing just dropped dead, good looking from the side view profile with plenty of mass and shape and density. Really gets out and goes well in this steep sand in terms of agility and flexibility off either end of that skeleton. I'm not going to tell you that one can't just be a tick lower in terms of rear flank, but that one's still green and that will come. And that is one high quality, elite looking show calf. Congratulations to you, young lady. This deer in 2 was early and stout, and he's in terms of his mate. He's really opened up in terms of his cage. One that you like, just all the power that he displays. For his topside mass and shape, he's a little small at the bottom of his bone and foot, like proportion a little different, and simply put, he's just not as sexy to the front 1/3 of his body as that one that wins, and that's why he comes in two. Young lady does an excellent job here in the pink bow, and Camp that just kept rolling up the line because compared to his peers and contemporaries in this class, that was long-sided and flat hip, got some muscularity, again, pretty solid, and I think just a little better in terms of structural integrity than the remainder ones. Yeah, and this tag team is doing a good job with Camp. You don't want to be a showster out here today. And I like that one's power, and I like that one's density. That one's too round in terms of his muscularity, not quite cool enough in terms of his front end roommate. Young man with the bow tie's got a long, good looking one that I really appreciate the silhouette from the side. That one's got to be built.